Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. So, a lot has happened between episodes. First off, the guide I was using wasn't a guide. The guy just listed off all the missions like, oh yeah, so this is what this one has, and he numbered them, but that's not an order. That is just an arbitrary system of numbers he slapped on it. So, me going this way, game please, down here, was wrong. I'm actually supposed to go from here, here, and then this way. So my apologies, if you were following me, you're gonna have to reset, otherwise that's actually, it gets to like plus 10 difficulty, but this way is supposed to only have like 1 plus 5 mission. So yeah, we kinda got screwed because a guy doesn't understand what a guide is. So I had to restart, redo the missions, leveled up. I put more into the area effects, so now we're here. So we just have 3 more levels, and then we're just not going to bother with that. But that'll give us an extra 6% damage to all area of effect skills, and then this will give us 10% effective range to cone and path, which I really should check just to make sure. Does this count as... Let's actually check. Do any of these count as like... Okay, that's a path. Wait, is that skill completely useless? Because it's starting to look like it is a completely useless skill. Because at that point, I'm not going to bother. At that point, I'm just going to put into range combat. Because this is at least crit chance, this is just flat damage. There's a lot more valuable stuff here. Yeah, I think that's literally a garbage stat. That sucks. Oh well, at least it saved me 2 skill points I can allocate elsewhere. But, yeah, so we're gonna keep going, go this way. And there looks to be nothing special with this mission, so I don't have to suddenly get worried about, oh, this is going to have something in it.
The very existence of this filth defiles the Imperium. They may be great in numbers, but if we sever the head, the body will die. Kill their leaders and break their will.
So I got 2 things to really talk about. You know, let's just get the first one out of the way. Battlefleet Gothic is apparently coming back. Not the video game, but the actual like, specialist tabletop. Games Workshop, for some reason, was like, hey, yeah, it's coming back, so, yeah, that's cool. I'm kind of surprised they didn't have it return yet. I would have preferred that over, like, Aeronautica Imperialis, or Gorka Morka, or anything. No, not Gorka Morka. I think it was just the Imperialis, that's the one I want to say. But it didn't make sense. Yeah, dogfighting's kind of cool, but when it comes to 40k, I've never thought about dogfighting. Mostly because any modern or even semi-modern tactics seem to be kind of thrown out the window with 40k. when chainswords and infantry charges are an actual thing. It's kind of weird. Yeah, that's a cool thing to have come back. And considering all the factions, there's a good amount they could really add. If they want to do terrain, you could do space stations and turrets and all that. You could do little asteroids, which people are just going to make. It's a chunk of rock that I wouldn't really want to be paying, especially Games Workshop prices, for a little plastic or resin chunk of space debris. You can just do it yourself. If you want to be real cheap, you could just go outside and find a rock and just put it on the table and go, yep, asteroid. It would actually add some very good texture to everything. You could look at it and think, oh wow, it looks like an actual rock. Because it is. But short of that, I didn't see a lot of news on it. Nothing really going out of its way to be like, hey, here's all the stuff shown. It's just like, yep, it's in the works apparently. And that's cool. More specialist games. I won't say the more specialist games the better, but cool ones returning. I'd like to see something like Dreadfleet come back for Warhammer Fantasy. Especially because they're doing Old World. And they could do it. I really wouldn't care if they tried it for Age of Squigmar. Mostly because Age of Sigmar is just so nebulous in its environments. I've said it a million times. The environments are so nebulous that it's like, oh, it's the keep of Belamiel, and I'm like, I don't know where that is, and it's like, oh, it's on the plain of Azir. That didn't narrow things down, my guy. When I heard, oh yeah, this place in Bretonnia, I was like, oh, okay, I know where Bretonnia is. Oh, this is Nagashazar. It's, south of, or like southeast of, God, what's Grimgore's place? Not Death Gorge, it's Iron Rock? I can't remember. But it's like, oh, it's there. It's west of I think the Dragon Isles. It's like, oh, okay, I know roughly where that is. I can ballpark it. I understand. I can map it out in my mind, but just, yep, the plain of whatever. Have fun. It's like, you kinda lost me. I wonder if Games Workshop would do, like, it would be, I don't know if they would, but I was gonna say, if they're gonna do something like a Space Hulk. Because that would be cool to have.
Analysis complete. The data slate you found has a unique encryption litanies running. You need to access a decryption terminal.
Okay, so the terminal is somewhere. So we gotta find that. I think. I want to say it's here. If not, I'll end up having to rerun this again, and God knows I'll just keep doing it until I get it right. Yeah, I could see a Space Hulk being either a terrain piece or maybe kind of like the Titan equivalent, but at the same time I could see it just not being a thing. I am interested in what the Tyranid ships, if they do Tyranid ships. I hope they do, but those would be fun. It has potential. The one thing I will say, though, is they're kind of already behind the 8 ball. Because if you want to play a cheaper space combat game, just pick up X-Wing. Like, a single ship is 15-20 bucks. But that also comes with all the modifier cards for them, and you only need to update them when a new edition rolls around. And then you can spend $100, get a little over $100 for the like huge ships for their own game mode, and in general it's a lot cheaper of a game to play. So Games Workshop's really gonna have to kind of step their game up if they don't want to have their lunch eaten immediately by Fantasy Flight. Because, yeah, they have the advantage of, well, it's Warhammer. You guys like Warhammer, but at the same time, if it's someone who's looking for just a space tactics game, and they're not too discerning on the brand, they're gonna probably go for the one that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And it's Games Workshop, we know it's gonna cost an arm and a leg. Cheap and Games Workshop don't go hand in hand. I've never seen their stuff on sale. Hence why I always say check out Miniatures Market. One place I ever find things on sale. But yeah, that was all for that. And then I was thinking more about what I had said last time about doing like a PvE thing for 40k, especially with Arcs of Omen and the boarding actions. And I was thinking, if Games Workshop want to be real smart, what they could do is then sit down and go, oh, here's the basic rules. They're pretty self-centered, not self-centered, straightforward, self-sufficient, self-explanatory. But then we have extra rules for other things. So let's say, oh, it's a boarding action and you need to take down a structure. That's your PvE objective. Well, what you could do is use the... you'll know what I'm talking about if you know the miniatures. It's the Death Guard structure. It's a bulbousy, like, plague vat thing. Nobody uses it because it's terrible and all buildings are still bad. But they could use that. They could say, oh, well, you can use this, and that's the objective, and it has these effects on you until you destroy it. And suddenly, that becomes an option for players. Oh, do you want to buy this miniature to have a proper representation? You could use it elsewhere. A nice little kind of segue into players getting them. Alright, I gotta look up this info fragment because I'm really perplexed here. Let's see. Oh wow, this dude actually has breakdowns for like every different kind of path you want to take, which I think I already screwed up and took the wrong one. Oh no, this is the mastery path. Okay. Yeah, so we're good. Oh, okay, yeah, so we got the data slate here, and it's not going to be for a while until we actually use it. Okay. God. I appreciate the dude having breakdowns like, hey, if you're going for relic farming, run this. If you're doing this, do this. I'm going to do mastery every time because most loot, best odds of at least knowing where everything is. Yeah, it takes a little longer and I got to do everything, but I'd rather do that than not. yeah, I'd like for boarding actions to be something really cool, and I think it's like I keep saying, it's the best option for a PvE mode. And it's just like I had mentioned long ago, where they should make a board game using a couple miniatures that you get. Use it as a vehicle to sell stuff. Use it as a vehicle to get people in. Do very simple starter packs that are like, hey, here's the boarding action Imperial Guard, here's the boarding action Black Legion. You don't have to include like Abaddon the Despoiler, which I think it actually does. I think they have a set that's that they're coming out with for the boarding action that includes Abaddon. I would have just done like a generic Chaos Lord, but whatever. But do something like that. Oh, hey, you can get this. Oh, here's the Chaos Demons. You get a Demon Prince or whatever. Chaos, like, do a Chaos United that's with him, or the different Chaos factions get their own guys. Do stuff like that. It's a great way to sell this stuff to people. And people like starter packs. When I was showing the Sororitas stuff to my friend, he sat there, he's like, so what set do you buy first? And I looked at him like, I don't know. Honestly, as much as I know about the miniature game and stuff, I couldn't tell you. Maybe a start collecting set, maybe one of the like patrol boxes. I don't know. I would appreciate if Games Workshop put like a little sticker on the box that's like, hey, this is a start here like set. That'd be great, honestly.
You can watch the body wander aimlessly until it withers and dies.
I would actually love that, just to flat out be told, hey, this is, if you're just getting this faction, or you're new to the game, just get this first. Because that gives you, as a player, that gives you the best start. And it's just really convenient. As opposed to being like, yeah, just buy miniatures, dumbass. We don't really care as long as we get money. It feels... You have to be friendly to new players. One, both as a player, be friendly to people. Shouldn't have to be said, but some people really need to hear that. But also as a creator or like a business, if you're trying to get people in, you need to make it very easy for them to get in so that they can stick around. Yeah, because we gotta go here to then unlock the secret mission. But this is gonna be a while. Quick speed mulch. These are probably gonna be crap, because it's a sword, yep. And yeah. Let's go.
The enemy is here, preying on the weak and using craven tricks against the defenders of mankind. Perhaps we should find their leaders and give them a fair share of their own medicine.
Yeah, so some people were mad about Space Marine 2 because I'm trying to remember this. I think it's the studio making... No, it's not Saber. It's some weird thing where some rich Russian guy is invested in... It might be the studio. Somebody, it's either them or Focus Home Entertainment. So they're mad about that, and they're mad because they're also invested in the studio Mundfish, who's making Atomic Heart. And it's a slew of things. I'm not gonna dive into my own personal beliefs on the conflict in Ukraine. That's a whole song and dance and some geopolitical stuff that has to be taken into consideration, and some very obvious sympathy and empathy that need to be brought into play. But the anger when it comes to like video games and like, oh, this guy's profiting, and it feels like misplaced anger considering the greater things at play. And it's like, yeah, you can have your opinion on the guy or his business, that's fine. It just, people are like, oh, boycott Space Marine. I'm like, is that really going to do anything, though? If it does, that's one thing, but just from an understanding of, like, someone who invests in stuff, like an investment guy, you're probably not going to hit them that hard. Investors usually diversify their investments so that if any one thing goes bad, they can recover easy. Especially when it's a professional investor. This isn't, your average Joe Blow from Kokomo who's like, oh yeah, her Bitcoin's a great investment, and dumps his life savings when it's at 60 grand. That's a different animal. Man, I'm happy I don't know anybody who did that. I've always been so skeptical of that stuff that I'm like, always seemed too good to be true. It's nice having this map that's actually complete and properly annotated. Okay, so there's two of them here, because why are there two of them here? Can't tell me my cards did that. But yeah, this map's nice. Oh god. Oh, I saw people were talking about Call of Duty because the player counts are going down. And I'm like, yeah, that's not a surprise. Trends tend to die, and you can't expect people to hang around in just a BR for, 3 years now? When they don't add anything of substance besides, oh, new weapon. Yeah, you're gonna get people kind of tired. As much as I rag on like Fortnite, credit where credit is due, they at least change things up. Even though I remember people getting really butthurt when they did like the max. But I did see gameplay of that, and I remember it had like homing rockets, and I thought, oh, that's really stupid. It would have been cool if it was just like a respawn mode, and the mechs were just like, oh, each team gets a mech. Or they get like 2, and it's kind of like Ghetto Titanfall. But no, it was just full bore. Here's a mech that everybody would rush to because you could just obliterate people. But yeah, I'm not surprised. Not to mention, like, I played a little bit of Modern Warfare 2, and even if you actually paid for the game, it's not that good. The perk system's wacky. The unlock system is just... it's annoying. It makes me miss games like Army of Two or MAG, where it was like, hey, just, you earn money in-game, just use the money to buy attachments and buy weapons. We're not gonna sit here, even though MAG did have like a level requirement, it was also just like, yeah, we're not gonna force you to use certain things, we're not gonna make you do whatever, it's just play. I miss that in games. Because I remember it was like Black Ops 1 did that, where they had an actual proper... you use the COD points back when they weren't microtransaction currency to just buy weapons, buy camos, buy attachments. It was fun. They had like the wager matches. I never did them because I was too worried I'd lose, which I would. But the idea was cool. And stuff like that, I think, would actually help a game, because then your sweats gravitate toward that. You need to have a spot for your sweaty players to go, otherwise they just clog up like random games, and then you just have to suffer through them. And of course, Call of Duty's competitive scene is absolute garbage. I love looking every year because it's like, oh hey, we banned sniper rifles, shotguns, half the attachments, these throwables. I'm like, what's in the game at this point? And it's like 3 guns. That's what pros use. And I'm sitting here going, the pros are stupid. They're not even playing the same game as everybody else. They're playing like Babby mode at that point. But I also just don't vibe with the, oh, every competitive mode for shooters is just S&D. Search and Destroy is kind of a crap mode, if I'm being honest. It's not... It is a slight skill mode, but for the most part, it's just, oh, who can get to the point faster, who can, you know, pop flash, or who can, like, jiggle peek just enough. It's not anything to be really proud of in my eyes. Something like MAG, where you had like acquisition, that would be a mode worth doing competitively. Because it's like, hey, defender, you have to defend this vehicle from getting stolen. Attacker, attack your way in and steal the vehicle and get it out. It's a lot better, it takes a little longer, but you'd also need larger player counts. I've said it before, and that'll never happen. There'll never be a competitive with more than 6 people. Because reasons. Alright, mission over. And that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button, it helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.